history of funding for two things, really. One, to find out whether what we had heard from other countries might be true and might be a national security threat.
In other words, the rumors from the Soviet Union
Russia or
Russia,
China, right. Was there a threat?
Right.
And the second one was, if this is real, then how do we improve it? How do we find people who can do this? So on the threat assessment side, I would say that the answer was, we don't have much to worry about. This is not necessarily because there wasn't anything there, but no one knows anything more than we do. And there aren't people using psychic powers to influence us, as far as we know. On the other side, is it useful sometimes? The answer appears to be yes, but probably no more so than in a few exceptional cases of psychic detective work. So for example, if there was a spy satellite picture of something, and the National Security Council said, we don't know what that is, but we're a little concerned about it. Could you tell us something about this? Well, what the psychic is told is nothing. All they're told is, give a description about an important target.
And how do they locate the target? Do they give a longitude and latitude?
We don't know. They're just told there's an important target and we want you to give us information about this. They do whatever they do, write a sketch or say some words, and then later it filters up to the intelligence community, and obviously they don't rely on just that, because that would be stupid. Instead, they take all of the human intelligence and their satellite intelligence and see if this mixes in to the rest of it.
Now, I hear Barry thinking through our communication that if the CIA was funding it, now I know that there's really nothing to it.
Well, I think I have more faith in our government than that. I hope so, anyway.
On the other hand, there was a rumor going around years ago that the Russians were using telepathic bombardment to make our national leaders act stupidly, but we showed that we didn't need any explanation.
That's right.
We could do that ourselves.
Well, there was a chess championship in which Korchnoi claimed that the Russians had planted a guy in the front row to influence him, and that's why he lost the
But seriously, I've seen the same data Dean has. I was a consultant on the CIA projects, and sometimes the remote viewing worked extremely well. But of course, you'd never use it as a sole source of intelligence, but at times it could make a wonderful supplemental source. Now, there's a concern here I think we need to address, though. A number of us who have experimented in this field think that ESP is real, and sometimes it works strongly, but that does not mean you should start basing your life decisions on apparent psychic information. You have to use your intelligence. I mean, even Mohammed said, trust in God, but tie your camel first.
Right.
I got to ask one question. Dean, Marilyn, Charlie, you're all sheep in the sense that you believe. Have any of you ever been tested positive for ESP?
Yeah.
Personally?
Yeah, I've occasionally been tested positive. But also I usually say I don't believe. I say I've assessed the scientific evidence and reached a conclusion on that basis.
Marilyn?
I'll follow Charlie.
Yeah, I feel the same way. My belief is based on empiricism. It's not based because I grew up in a family where everyone just believed this.
No, but have you yourself shown any proclivity for ESP?
I always run myself on my own experiments, and sometimes I do pretty well.
And sometimes not.
And sometimes I don't.
And statistically, over time?
Probably better, probably in the positive direction.
Barry, what do you make of that?
Well, I've done the same thing. I have some devices in my laboratory off in one corner where I've run myself many, many times, and I run my students every time I teach a large course. I run them all through, and I have people come and visit my lab because they think they have psychic ability, and I run them on the machine. And so far, the laws of chance are not in any grave danger as far as my experience goes.
You can imagine some mechanism for telepathy of some sort of brainwaves or quantum mechanical effect, and perhaps clairvoyance where you're sensing a distance, but how conceivably could something like precognition work, where you are knowing something in the future? By what possible mechanism? That seems to be so contrary to everything we understand. Charlie?
I think that's very exciting. It reminds us we haven't been at science very long. We don't know much about the universe. But see, I have a very conservative idea of science, and that is that data comes first. If your theory doesn't fit the data, that just shows that your theory is inadequate. You don't throw away data because the theories can't handle it. The data for ESP is overwhelming in my estimation of it. There are thousands of studies out there now. It happens. I don't understand it, but I'm not very smart.
Okay, we will fast forward 100 years for our prediction. Marilyn, will ESP have any accepted applications 100 years from now?
No question.
Charlie?
In healing, definitely.
Jim?
I doubt it very much.
Barry?
There will be people who believe it as firmly then as now, and the effects will be as small and trivial then as now.
Dean?
I have trouble predicting next Tuesday, but if I had to guess, I would say that yes, there would be real applications.
So skeptics seek to disabuse the public of ESP fantasies, and serious parapsychologists continue to do their research. If you're entertained by psychic stories, enjoy, but give your eye a critical glint. Learn to distinguish science fact from media fiction. However, if ESP does exist, if we ever admit the presence of anything non-physical, our view of the world changes. Time and space dissolve, and we redefine the human condition. But separate what you know from what you hope to get closer to truth. I'm Robert Kuhn.